And a lot of viewers will actually be glad that I'm showing this share that's coming now. And that is a well-known Steinhoff. We spoke about Steinhoff, I think last week or the week before, and there was something interesting happening to the stock. And I said, well, I like the turn of the stock because there's something on the go here and we don't know what it is. Let's have a look here. And first of all, let's have a look at this 40-week moving average. What do we see? It suddenly turned into a support. Let's just view it out a little bit. There you are. Zoom it out. What do you see? This 40-week moving average turned into a support. There's something else that I would like to show you. And by the way, it is Simon that asked me about it and said, Frans, I like this company. I know some people don't like it, and some people is saying doom and gloom about the share, but I like the stock. So let's have a look here. Well, Simon, there's no volume. I thought that there can maybe be a spike in volume, but let's have a look here. This stock is starting to show that it wants to break a few supports. And let's have a look here. The first one was that one. There you are. Let's have a look. There you are. It just broke that. There you are. But I'm going to show you something interesting now, and then you will suddenly realize why I am also excited. Look what happened. A week or two ago, it first broke this 40-week moving average. That is positive. Then it broke this resistance line, and that was sitting at, there you are, R1.43. That is positive. Then it went to a high of 177. That's positive. And it came back. Look what it did. It came back a little bit, and it's trading now at 186. What does it tell us? That it broke these resistances. It came back to test this line. It did not even touch that line, and it broke above that previous 177. That is all positive. So if you want to buy it, Simon, it's interesting. You can either chase the momentum now to the upside, and the problem is with these stocks. Can you remember stocks like we had with Harmony, Impala Platinum? You can remember Anglo, you can remember Kumba. When they started to go, they did not even give you a chance to get in. So I will say, if you want to nibble on Steinhoff and you've got, let's say, a risky appetite, then chase the momentum if you really want to, because it only started now. But make use of a tight stop loss of 162 to protect capital, because if it really starts to get going, look what's happening. It can go to R2.12, R2.52, and even as high as R2.86. And if you're really lucky, it can go to R3. But what's important here is that, look, the market also got hammered the last few days. And what's happening here? It's held its own. That is positive. So I like it. Well, let's have a look at Goldfields. And this viewer, William, said, Frans, I don't want to sell Goldfields at all. And remember what he's saying here? He says, I am a long-term investor in Goldfields. I like the company, and I don't even think of selling it. So let's have a look here. I just want to get the share quickly there. Goldfields. Where is it hiding now? Goldfields. There you are. And we're going to a weekly chart. And look what are we seeing here. I can remember when we called the share around 35, 40 Rand, no one could believe it. Now it's 110 Rand. So if I look at the long-term chart, I will use this trend line. And it's quite simple. William, I will say that the momentum is up. Look what happens. It came to test this line, came back all the way, tested it, bounced off here, and from there it made a higher high, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, and higher low. And it's on the brink of making a new high above 114 Rand. Keep in mind, the stock had a massive rally. I mean, from 2019, let's call it 14 months ago, from 40 Rand to 110 Rand. That is a massive rally. So just be careful. But I'm going to say, while it's above this trend line, this line will be tested only at 92.68, I think you can get nervous. But there's one thing. Always, if you look at a 92 and it's now 110, always keep the psychological level of 100 Rand in mind. If it breaks below 100 Rand, it may be an early warning signal to tell you that something is wrong. Well, let's have a look at Northern. Same thing. Peter believes that platinum still got a long way to go. And he says, listen, Frans, I've got no intention of selling the stock. I'm just more than happy to keep it. There's a little bit something that I want to show Peter here. Peter, just take a note of the stock. Remember, there's your 40-week moving average. Remember, this is the long-term moving average, which fundamental guys like to look at. Remember, they always say, when the share is above the 40-week moving average, it is bullish. When it starts to go below it, it's negative. But what happens here is, every time, if you look at in the past, every time it comes back to test this 40-week moving average. But since August 2019, it did not respect that rule. It rallied away in a lamp pole formation. So I'm a little bit nervous to say to you, you can just hold on to the stock. I'm going to give you an early warning line, and then you can decide when it gets there if you're nervous or not, and there you are. Now, why do I say that? Look at it. There's a high. There's a new high. And when it breaks this line, you'll see the first, what we call lower low. Because at the moment, it doesn't give us some lower highs. It just gives us maybe a lower low. Why? Because it will take out that low and it will give us a lower low. So I will get nervous if the share breaks below 121 Rand 82 cents. And remember, first of all, this is a weekly chart. And if we talk about a weekly chart, we want a weekly close below 121.82. But for the moment, the share looks okay. I'm worried that it rallied away from here. It had a massive rally, and I don't know where did you buy it, but let's say you bought it at around 40 Rand. You're sitting at 130 Rand 65. That is a beautiful, massive rally. But I mean, there's your warning level. Otherwise, just hold on to the stock. And if it breaks, because that's maybe your next viewpoint, if it really breaks, where can it go to? If it breaks out this high, it can maybe reach for levels of about 158. I mean, what a beautiful rally of a counter. Well, let's have a look at Kwesi. I'm going to help him again because this guy is in dire straits with his white maize. He's so nervous about it. And he said to me, Frans, please, I know I don't want to mess the guy's time and use it up, but please can you maybe just look at maize again? I've been through an ugly drought, and for me it's quite important that the price just lift a little bit, because he said to me, I'm in debt. And there's the clue. If you look at this candle here, that is what we call an inverse hammer. See, if it can maybe just knock out the lows for us, because I've got some hope here for you. Look at your stochastic. Since last week that we chatted about it, the share, the instrument almost did nothing. It consolidates around this 2,600 level. And this hammer, usually an inverse hammer at the low of the price, close to the lows, and an oversold indicator like what we've seen here, can easily call for a turnaround. But there is one clue. Can you see that I use this support line and I use that support line and I draw a line in between, and there's the resistance that we need to look at. The instrument must break above 26 Rand on the dot before it can give us a proper technical buying signal to say that the trend wants to change to the upside. But Kwesi, there's something else that we need to see. If it breaks above 26, the most important line will be the high of this inverse hammer, because if that can turn into a support, and that level I'll give through to you, that level is, there you are, I just want to, there you are. The high is 26 Rand and 65 cents, 2,665. If that breaks, look at these shadows, then they will probably be tested, and that will be 22,692, and it can even go as high as 2,747. But for you, you say you need to have a stronger maize price, I hope that it closes this gap. And that gap is between 2,901 cents and 2,921 rand. Well, let's have a look at Exponent. Some guys are very nervous about this company, and the reason why they're nervous is they say that they just worried that the stock goes under. And let's have a look here. There you are. And the person that, and remember this is a weekly chart again, and the person that asked about it was Donald. Donald said, listen, I've pumped some money into this company. I hope that they can pay me because they said that I'm a preferential holder of the shares, and suddenly now these guys are under pressure. But I want to show you something, Donald. Look what happened since, you can say, 25th of June 2018, the stock actually lost momentum, and look what it happened. It fell off the cliff, tried to build momentum, and all the way it's making a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and now we're right at the end here and see, listen, maybe we're just seeing a little bit of a light in a very dark tunnel. But for me, if I look at this company, I do not like a share that's trading at 3 cents. I will say be very careful, because if it breaks below 2 cents, it can actually go to 1 cent and go bust. So Donald, unfortunately, we cannot help you with that because we have nothing to do with their payments. So unfortunately, you need to get hold of them. But I do not like the chart. And unfortunately, it's a pity you didn't watch the program and ask the request, because from about August 2016, it just made new lows all the way. And remember, if something sounds to be good, it is not good. So enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for all the requests, and we will talk again.